You're listening to the We Are Libertarians Podcast Network. Find all of our shows at wearelibertarians.com. You're listening to the We Are Libertarians Network. Learn more at wearelibertarians.com.
Welcome to the Boss Hog of Liberty podcast. This is episode number 234 of East St. John's favorite podcast. Jeremiah Morrell here, joined by executive video producer, audio engineer, Zach Burcham, our favorite stable, redheaded, grumpy co-host, Jesse Riddle.
I don't have red hair.
He's an antagonist. He won't accept anything at face value. Hey, the sun came out today. No, it didn't. That's Jesse.
No, there's a long-going thing about me and red hair. Some people think I have red hair. Some people don't think I do not. And I don't have red hair.
Some people don't think I do not.
See, he doesn't think I do.
And of course, my forever co-host, Mr. Dakota Davis. How we doing, buddy?
Today's episode features the four of us. We just had a super long holiday episode where we did a gift exchange. Jeremiah, we played what Jesse dubbed the Pepsi game.
The Pepsi Challenge.
Yep, and we tried all kinds of different alcoholic beverages, and
we are well lubricated coming into the very brief main show.
You guys might be. I took my sample drink of all five, and that was it. Well, except for I guess I should take that back. Except for the mead, I did drink my whole cup of mead.
This show is about our lives in rural Indiana. We're here to push your boundaries and make you think as individuals. Sometimes we'll provoke you. Other times we'll make you laugh. But hopefully you will always learn something new.
There's no way these are the show notes for the night that I'm looking at.
We don't have show notes for tonight.
No, this is just a wing it. Those are last week's.
I'm like, we have a guest?
I love that we've been in here. We've been recording for an hour and 25 minutes. We just did a massive Patreon.
You just said something about COVID, and that was the first thing I was like, oh.
Here's a clue. We've been doing COVID for 2 years.
Yeah, I know.
I'm tired of it. I have COVID fatigue.
There was one of those things on Instagram where it's like a little category and you tap something. It's like, it tells you what to post. Look up a picture, and it was like a couple weeks ago. It was pictures from January 2020, and when you didn't know what was about to happen. And I was like, oh, we're coming up on those pictures are 2 years old, and we were about to get into it.
We were so happy. It was great. All right, so Dakota, what do you want to tell them about? This is going to be a much briefer episode than normal because we did such a long, fantastic, glorious Patreon.
Yeah, it was kind of our Christmas gift to the Patreon members. Patreon members, the patrons. They got a hour and 13-minute bonus episode this week where we did a gift exchange like we always do. We usually do a gift exchange on the show, but we decided that we were going to keep that private for all of those folks.
And me. They didn't tell me either.
Jesse didn't know that we did a gift exchange.
Jesse's gift exchange, maybe an addendum episode, comes later, midweek.
Yeah. So the Patreon gift people are going to get bonus content.
Even more.
My birthday's in a week, so.
Well, we'll just bundle it together.
Yep.
Dakota's turning 30.
Are you? Big 30?
No.
I was saying.
No. I couldn't remember what I was turning.
You were born in 2001, weren't you?
96.
Wow. Was it 96?
Yeah, I was the first baby of the new year.
I didn't think you were alive yet when the towers got smashed.
Are you serious?
I thought we had that conversation before.
No, I remember when.
You're like, I remember I was in the sandbox. I had poop in my diaper.
I was in.
It was traumatic.
I was in kindergarten. And I remember my kindergarten teacher showing us the picture of the Twin Towers.
I was a freshman at Ball State.
Zach, we have a theme. whenever we don't have show notes, it's 9/11 talk on the damn show. This is what happens every time. This is defining.
This is what we all have in our minds.
What the hell with it? We don't have anything to talk about. 9/11. Quickly, 9/11.
It's evidently it's our generation's Blizzard of '78.
Yes, this is what happened.
You guys remember 2001?
It was Miss Becca. She told me. She showed me a picture in the newspaper of the Twin Towers with smoke coming out of them. And she was like, you see that right there? You see the devil's face in the smoke? That was the devil himself.
That's hilarious.
Millennial boomers talk about 9/11 with nothing else to talk about.
I am not hanging out at these breakfast shops like back then.
Where's the weather? What's the weather?
There.
Hey, where were you when the world stopped turning?
I'm like, shut up, Alan Jackson. I'm getting out of here. It was Alan Jackson that sang that song, right?
Yes. Oh yeah.
Get out of here.
It's the Alan Jackson, Toby Keith playlist. You just sign yourself up.
Put a boot in the rain.
Some Daryl Singletary. Who else had a
Thankfully,
custom?
those guys will be gone by the time I'm a boomer.
At the top of his list.
So Merry Christmas. COVID has gone crazy this week. We discussed it as a group, and I don't think any of us have the passion to actually deal with talking about the crap that's happening now. New York City canceled itself this week. They said no more Rockettes for Christmas.
Rockettes?
Rockettes, the leg kicking girls. Are you familiar?
No.
Google that real quick.
Are they burlesque dancers?
They're dancers.
Similar, yeah.
They're.
Right.
There's a long, maybe it's because I grew up in New York State that was a big deal when I was 6 or 7 or 8 years old, but the Rockettes in New York were a thing.
I was going to say the burlesque troupe, because they call them troops, in Indianapolis is called the Rocket Dolls.
So the Rockettes in New York shut down, and we're saying, I guess SNL canceled having any crowd, yada, yada, yada. All kinds of crap just keeps happening. Things are getting tighter, yada, yada, yada. Get your booster. The White House said that if you get your booster, you'll probably live. If not, get in the coffin. It's over for you. We're just into the threats again.
Nothing like burlesque.
It's similar.
It's just it's like line dancing to a lot of kicking.
It's scantily clad women doing a weird dance. Is that not basically the definition?
I'm pretty sure
of
the burlesque people would kick your ass for saying that. But
I got my booster a couple weeks ago. I feel like I'm good. I can do whatever the hell I want. Jesse, you got yours this week.
You got it on Monday, and I literally died and saw Christ and came back.
You were talking. You were so dark in the chat. I was legitimately
he
like,
hit me up in a private chat. He's like, hey, do you need anything?
I'm like, first of all, your mom was sick this week anyway. And then you were like,
well, that was it.
My arm isn't moving. And I think you started talking about, I don't think the assisted suicide people have it all that wrong. You were like, literally like, if this is what an autoimmune disease is, I'm getting out.
Yeah, well, because it's painful, man. It was very painful.
You get one shot and you're down for 2 hours. And you're like, it's not worth living.
When I get sick, my immune system, I get a lot of inflammation, I guess, because that's what the pain's from. Is like your immune system creates inflammation for whatever reason. I don't.
It's a cytokine storm.
No, I don't think so. Not for me, at least. But anyway, my whole point of that is anytime I get sick, I'm like, it hurts real bad. Like I'm literally like when they call it the man flu or whatever, but it like manifests itself like in my back. So it's really hard to walk. And I couldn't hardly lift my arms because in this one, there's a lot of people getting like swelling in the lymph nodes in your armpits and your arms or whatever. And I definitely feel like that's probably what part of it was because I was like, oh, this was really strange. But yeah, it's just like a lot of inflammation of my lymph nodes or something. I don't know. It definitely hurts.
Zach, you haven't been boosted yet, have you?
I got boosted 2 weeks ago.
Okay, so you're full.
I had nothing. My arm hurt. I got the Pfizer because that was the easiest one to get in Newcastle, and most of it was like because they didn't let me sit down. She's just like okay, and just bam, and just like hit me in the arm with it. I was like okay, that hurt.
Were you in the hospital?
I went to the hospital, yeah.
I sat down for mine over there,
and then they gave me
the clock, and I sat down for the 15 minutes, and that was it.
They were moving quickly enough; they didn't even need me to sit down. They just gave it to me while I was standing there.
I went to CVS, and lovely pharmacist gave me a shot in the arm. I was like. And she didn't set the timer. And I was like, do I need to sit here? And she goes, if you feel like you need to. And I was like,
she's like, get the hell out of my office.
There still is freedom around here, you know?
The lady at CVS told me, she's like, you can get up, walk around, do a little shopping if you want to. She goes, if you fall over, then they'll let me know.
That's what I said. I was like,
is that when you got your first one, or did you go boosted or flu shot?
That was when I got my first one.
Yeah.
I ran a temperature over 100 on Tuesday. So pretty brutal for a minute.
You're cured now, though.
Yeah, woke up day after solstice feeling like I said, 1 million Bitcoins.
So we do need to thank all of the patrons. We glazed over that. Christy Avery, folks that give $50 or more.
All of them.
No, we thank the
just start reading
this long luxurious list.
It's not that big of a list, is it?
It's growing every day.
Over 24.
That wouldn't take that long. You should
But it's
probably
a
do
sizable
that once
list.
a year. I would appreciate it if I.
Christy Avery of wonderful Fort Wayne, Indiana, the matron saint of the Boss Hog of Liberty podcast.
Matron saint.
We thank
Hello,
her
Christy.
so very much. She's watching. She says she got boosted yesterday.
Did she also die?
She's wiped out today, so she's on the struggle bus. But she'll be good by Christmas. It'll be all right.
Yeah. Christmas Eve, you'll feel probably fine by tomorrow.
You got to say thanks to John Phillips, Andy Moore, Buick GMC. Another Boss Hog sale happened this week.
Car wise,
Danny bought himself a RAV4 from John over there at Andy Moore. Traded in his Jeep, got himself a nice black on black.
That looks sexy. It's a nice looking truck.
It's nice.
Toyota RAV4.
Forerunner.
Yeah, Forerunner.
Forerunner. Yeah,
Forerunner.
It's
Man, don't talk that down to a RAV4. RAV4, like that's so far. That's
I was gonna say, I'm over here. I was like, it looks sexy. Everybody's like, a Forerunner or a RAV4? I'm like, yeah.
I think it's a lifted Celica.
yeah. A lifted Celica
Would be
is
cooler
kind of
than a
awesome. They
RAV4.
rallied Celicas.
Yeah, that'd be way cooler.
The RAV4 is what you buy when you get your AARP card and you're heading up to get your early bird special.
And I think RAV4s were notorious for tipping over.
Back in the day, maybe those initial ones.
They're very boxy.
Well, they made that really cool one back in the day that was a 2-door pickup, like a little tiny thing, and Red Bull bought them all and stuck the Red Bull cans on the back. Those are like a RAV4.
And then we got to say thanks to Anthony Meyer, who's playing Santa Claus and delivering goods across the country to feed and clothe us all.
What?
Hopefully he's back in business.
He's America's truck driver. He had some repairs.
Oh, sorry. I thought we were talking about the car dealership guy. I was like, what is going on? I'm getting
You're a little buzzed. There were
a lot of heavy beers.
There was quite the, if you're watching the video, there's quite the array, a disaster on the table. And it looks like it's my wedding reception because there are meat, and Dakota made a snowflake.
He carved that on the table like Jeffrey Dahmer making
our
dinner.
Our table has probably got marks in it that are just.
You pick up the tablecloth and there's
destroyed.
just it's like slits in the tablecloth.
I think you guys do need to take some money from the patrons and buy a new cloth for the table. It's pretty haggard.
We've had this table.
This is OG
since the show started.
Yeah.
Well,
since the studio began.
Yeah.
This was I believe we went to Macy's, or
it's a high quality tablecloth.
Maybe it was Kohl's.
I think it was Penny's.
We went to the mall. We went
that no longer exists.
Definitely went to Muncie. We definitely went to Muncie.
There's definitely no warranty on it.
Many years ago.
I mean, it can at least be laundered after the beer incident a couple weeks ago. So
it's been laundered a lot, and every time it gets laundered,
it gets worse. Yeah.
It needs to be a little shorter. To be honest with you, so.
Well, not over here. We're barely hanging on this side. It's
not made for a semi.
It's a lot like just after Thanksgiving, just trying to keep the pants on over here.
I've thought about getting a new one. Maybe we should.
Does your family take their pants off during Thanksgiving?
Yours doesn't?
No.
We got to pay the first and last month of rent in January, so we're probably not going to be getting it then.
No major expenditures coming up out of the ordinary. We'll see. Hey, if there's a rash of new patrons coming in, we'll be all right. Maybe that'll be tablecloth money.
That's right. We'll finally get a new table. Please.
We're hanging on by a thread here, folks.
We're downstairs.
For $20 a month, you could put us in a new tablecloth and feed 7 children.
Hear that? Sarah McLachlan.
The arms of the
No. We only sing on Patreon.
He's like, what's going on right now?
Lost.
Zach has consumed no beverages.
like, sober.
And he's like, you guys are
different
terrible.
operating.
This is
just a different plane of
This
existence.
is not what he signed up for.
I'm totally sober. Like,
No, but I will tell you, an hour and a
No one
half ago,
soberly sings Sarah McLachlan.
an hour and a
I
half
had
ago,
like
Dakota
2
walks
ounces
in.
of alcohol.
Dakota walks in, a broken man. He sits down at the table. We start the Patreon. He's got his head down. He's cutting papers like a serial killer and using one-word answers as I'm starting Patreon. And I'm like, oh my God, this is going to be
I had just
a nightmare
had
scenario.
3 pieces of pecan pie.
I mean,
And I know Dakota
I
well
was
enough that
feeling
I'm like,
pretty sick.
Dakota has been overstimulated. He can turn extrovert on for an hour with us, but then if he's done it too long, he shuts down, and that's what I got from you.
Yeah,
You were a broken man. You had been on for the family, and then you got here, and you're like,
You're feeling better though.
it just looked like
better.
one of us,
he's warmed up.
No, I'm
it's like
telling you,
one
I
of us was
just
going to get a
feeling
call
sick.
later from the police
was
department
feeling
because
sick.
that video is going to be used as like evidence as to his condition on that particular evening if something happened. I was like, okay, this
They holding up when
is
you guys
great.
when you guys join the Patreon. And you watch the Facebook video, and you watch him hold up the doily of what he carved. Oh my God!
It looks terrifying.
What do you mean?
You should frame it.
Viking.
You should frame
Viking.
it. And
Don't hold it up. They have to pay for that.
How does that look terrifying, bro?
Viking horns and questionable snowflakes.
I was to say.
All right. So
It's like a snowflake.
the one thing we talked about in the chat this week was the Let's Go Brandon guy wrote an op-ed that circulated a bit, and he's like he basically said, now I think is it Brandon
He
Brown?
basically said, "I'm not political, but here's me being political."
He said, "I'm not political, but I reserve the right to be political. But this has ruined my career."
Yeah.
Yeah, ruin his career is ridiculous. I thought the guy was being crybaby.
For me, it was, I'm not political. Please sponsor me again, Daddy.
Nobody sponsors him. That's his problem. Is
that's what I'm
he's barely
saying.
hanging on.
I didn't even. I'll be honest. I knew somewhat. I've had that situation. My brain had made it happen in a college football game and not at a race.
Really,
So
it was Kelly Stavist.
So I saw that. I think I knew that. I think I knew. I was aware of who the person was. But sometimes networks will move people around into various roles.
Sure.
And I had no idea who that guy was till he wrote that op-ed. So I would have never attached it to him until he did that. But I mean, I feel for the guy a bit. I mean, we had, yeah, that's turned into just, for the people that like to say it, good form. But if I see somebody type it, I'm like, I just scroll on past because I realize that they're somebody that's probably not worth having a discussion with because it just seems to be like a cry of the ignorant.
See, I didn't think we should be spending money at the local establishment that uses it pretty often here. And
He wasn't being political when he said that.
I know. Well,
We had a local business guy put that on a post and then said, I wasn't being political. I didn't
Pretend
mean to
like
be
I don't know
political."
what you're talking about. What, there was a business that said, "Let's go."
So we had a
Brandon.
local business that had to close early due to staffing issues a couple weeks ago and
Oh!
posted on Facebook.
This is a former guest of ours.
Yes. He said,
old Travis Lyle.
Yes, he said I had to.
I was
I
trying
have to
keep all
close.
that anonymous. But
I have to.
all right.
Yeah,
That's
whatever.
on Facebook. We can talk
Yeah,
about it.
but he's like, I have to close early today due to staffing issues. Let's go, Brandon. Was his post, and then little Newcastle, whatever we got 50,000 people in the whole county. That post had like 5,500 reactions and 6,500 comments within hours.
65. Man,
He has
6,500
a-
comments.
People follow him from out of state. Lots of
and
people.
it got shared around, and people were like, "Look at this," whatever, because it turned into, not
It
great
went
for him.
viral. It went
kind of
very
went viral
viral.
for Newcastle. It went viral,
Yeah.
because,
His page is viral, though.
but it did not go well for him in the comments because a lot of it was people calling him out for that comment, and a lot of people were calling him out for the food. For the quality of his products.
If you go back and look at all of them, people have either retroactively went and done this, or he already had foodies have been attacking him already, and then this accelerated it. Like there was already some weird niche of people that were attacking him for his food quality.
Yeah.
And then he did that, and then it just
lit
erupted.
them up.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then one person had gone back and he was on this show because he was running for office, and somebody found a post when he was running for office that said that it was going to be making people hold themselves accountable and not blaming the government policies for their own issues.
Hilarious.
Which was so poignant. But yeah, then he commented later, he's like, I didn't mean for it to be political. I'm like, you can't say "Let's go, Brandon" and not
Can't walk it back.
No.
Well, it's an idea or a theme or just something people
Unless
say.
your
when they're
employee
frustrated.
that's sick is Brandon, happenstance you could get pie with
So
it. But
Brandon Brown, the race car driver that this all started with, he made my radar early last year when he was trying to. Had a somewhat viral tweet himself where he dressed up as a shady used car salesman, slapping the hood of his car, saying, "What's it going to take to get your name on this car today?" And
so it's funny. He tried to make a meme.
So he tried. He was slapping. He was dressed up trying to because he doesn't have sponsorship.
Yeah.
So he was
I
trying.
kind of remember this.
He was trying to find an edge to make himself marketable, and then miraculously he found a ride. He won Talladega, and then of course it's Talladega, which is as red as it gets in October of this. So it was a very politically charged time. And the fans are chanting F Joe Biden. Kelly Stavas can't really hear it because she's
headphones on.
She's got headphones
She's got
on.
people
She's talking to the
her.
driver. She's got people there. So she just assumes that it's "Let's go, Brandon," right? They're celebrating his first win, yada, yada, yada. And then he's just doing his winning interview. And then he becomes a meme and this whole thing takes off. And he's like, now it's 2 months later, 3 months later. And he's like, "I'm Brandon. And this has not been helpful. Like, I appreciate you people, but you don't
think like he's getting like sales from these people?
No, because if he did, he'd have a deal right now.
The only thing that he can sell is sponsorship on a car to get to run. And so he's not attached to a product unless they attach themselves to him. And I bet that in the current climate, who wants to, I bet that businesses,
Black Rifle or Black Rifle Company would maybe do it.
Yeah, there's
Coca-Cola or Pepsi or Budweiser are not signing up.
The companies that had the budgets to sponsor a NASCAR team of any of the three levels are not the kinds of companies that are going to they want to attach themselves with that political of a situation.
I don't even think that Black Rifle Coffee Company would do it, because whenever what's his name, Kyle Rittenhouse, had on a Black Rifle Coffee Company shirt on, and like his picture was put on Instagram, and he's just like wearing their shirt and he's taking a picture with somebody. That Black Rifle Coffee Company guy was like, whoa.
Yeah.
That's not.
And that's the point, is that this goes back to Michael Jordan back in the day when he was the most important basketball player of all time, 1992, 1993. He's like, "I don't make political statements because Republicans, Democrats buy my shoes." Like you want 100% of the market to be available. You don't want to be overly political. You just want to want to do your thing, live your dream. And I honestly, I look at it and go, this guy woke up in the weirdest situation ever, and he just wants to live his life and be a professional race car driver.
It seems like Travis Lyle has just decided to double down on the Bubba Jones.
That's what I'm saying. He's doubled down on it.
Yeah.
I love it. He's like he just embraces it now.
Yeah.
It's good for him.
He posted a meme.
So as a small business owner, you can say, "I can sell sandwiches to half the people in town and be okay."
Well, so it's going to so the algorithm getting that level of engagement means people are going to see it. That's all I'm saying. It may not be like his target market, which is probably a problem, but it's still like, it's probably still going to get seen. I follow him now because it's hilarious. Like, I think it's the funniest thing I've ever seen. And now me and my friend Mark, who's been on the show a few times, we're like, I don't know, kind of need to go try it.
Well, I mean, that was to me the funniest thing was I saw 6,500 comments. It's like, wait. Maybe was this like a chain that I wasn't aware of?
Nope.
And nope, it's just him. And then there were so many posts with pictures of the food, being like, "Yep, says the sandwiches are world famous," and it's like
world famous fries. They're from a box that are frozen.
Yeah, and it was just like, I was like,
everything's world famous there.
Yeah, I was like, this is not going well. And then, like I said, he had.
Where is this place located?
I think it's in the old. I think it's the old J Bolts building.
Yeah, it's the old J Bolts right in front of like our little Caesars.
I miss fucking J Bolts, man.
J Bolts is good.
I love
those were world famous sandwiches, son.
All right. Yeah. Well, this is a very abbreviated episode.
Oh, we're ending it?
That was the main thing I had. What else do you guys? Is there anything else that you need to talk about, Jesse?
Let's do final thoughts first with Zach.
Okay.
Let's go around the table.
I don't really have much. Hope everybody has a safe and happy holiday. I'll probably share some links to like a bit of a downer. There was a vehicle accident we had earlier this week that affected some people that are like significant injuries and stuff, and so there's some GoFundMe's.
All local folks.
Yeah, local folks.
Not
good folks.
Not one of the big interstate accidents where it's out of towners. It was all of our own here.
Yeah, and seemingly like nobody being just an accident, like just horrible all around. And so I'm going to hop on and try and throw some of the GoFundMe chats or GoFundMe links in the chat. There's a meal train for one. So be thankful that you're having a holiday with your family, because some people are going to bounce back and forth to hospitals and stuff. So I'll share some of the chats. But other than that, just everybody else, drive carefully, be careful, be aware that there's some out of towners that don't know how to drive in Newcastle, and so watch out for those people
from Ohio.
Well, we have an intersection 3 and 38 where if you're coming south on 3,
there's a lane shift that you just know if you've driven here for 30 years.
So if you're from here and you're in the fast lane, you drive it and you look over your right shoulder to watch the car behind you to see if they just drive into your lane. So just be aware of that stuff. But otherwise, just have fun.
It's just safer to be in the right lane.
It's not going to be snowing this weekend, so.
No white Christmas.
No.
Jesse?
38.
What do you say? Yeah, Broad Street and 38. If you're heading southbound, say you were at L&K, and you're heading towards the
towards
the Walmart.
Going home.
And then do you notice that you have to shift to the right there, or are you the guy that just plows through people and causes 7 accidents?
I don't know what you're talking about.
You are the problem.
Yeah. No, you're the guy that, because if you
like the lanes
shift to the right. And so if you're in the fast lane, if you went straight, you would end up in the left-hand turn lane to go into Kroger, but it shifts to the right. And so what happens is you'll shift to the right, but the person who's in the lane next to you won't, and you'll just merge into them because they're not moving like they should.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that.
I can't believe, I hope you've seen it. You've lived here for 35 years. I can't believe you don't scream about that being dumb, Jesse. I don't come from that direction often. Okay. You don't go to Muncie?
I go to Muncie maybe once or twice. Like lately more from my mom, but
sure.
I don't come home 3.
All right. That's fair.
Go out to
You live in Knightstown. Sure.
Well, I got to take her home.
Yeah.
But there is never where I'm just like, I'm going to go to Muncie because it's as far away as Indy, and Indy provides way more entertainment than Muncie could ever fucking wish.
I don't know. I got in a legit traffic jam today on McGalliard and Muncie trying to get back home.
Yeah.
Muncie is gridlock in December. Jesse, you got anything for me? Final thoughts? Anything
I did, but you just threw a wrench in my
We can come back.
Mind. Please do.
We'll come back.
He looks deep in thought, so I think.
I was just going to say that we need to brag on Zach a little bit.
This gift giving?
He's impressive.
I have no idea what I was doing.
I think we should definitely let Zach have a whole week off from his day job next year at Christmas time as well, so he can repeat. And we should probably offer him.
I'm actually just going to pay him to buy gifts for other people for me.
We should probably offer him another year contract.
That was dumb luck. Next year will be a dumpster fire.
We should offer Zach another year contract to continue on with the podcast.
Yeah.
At the same arrangement.
I agree. Maybe he should get a raise.
We'll double it.
Yeah.
But we can't buy a new tablecloth if we do that.
You know what? They could give me 100 times raise, and they could still afford the tablecloth. They couldn't afford the tablecloth with my raise, but they could afford the raise.
So we need to start bringing
Zach makes about the same money I do
to drink here
on this.
I'm here.
There's water. He drinks water.
I hate
water.
Hey, water is Jeremiah's brought me some root beer, some A&W, name brand even.
There's root beer here.
It does not bite though.
There is Coca-Cola and 7-Up. Got all kinds of stuff. Got it all. Got all the good stuff.
That's all I had. I was just bragging on Zach. I'm so impressed.
I've been on the bourbon hunt. I still don't understand what good bourbon is versus bad bourbon. It's all just
start at Buffalo Trace and then go higher in the same family.
So what I've been doing,
it's pretty easy.
What I've been doing is just below Buffalo Trace is Benchmark.
Mm-hmm. So is it the same distillery?
Yeah, it's Buffalo Trace.
Okay.
So we did the big tour a couple months ago, and now with my job, I have the awesome opportunity to travel different areas. I can pop into liquor stores real quick and find stuff. So I've been trying to find for my friends and family some different bottles and what I can acquire. Kind of what they do on the James Hinchcliffe Alexander Rossi podcast, where they go different towns, buy bourbons, and throw them in the van or in their their bus, I guess. And then at the end of the year, they've got all this bourbon to drink. So I have spent a silly amount of money on drinks I'll probably never drink. But it's a
you're
collection
turning
now.
into what's his face that was at one of your parties a few years ago, who owns the restaurant thing, Bash. He got into a big bourbon kick.
Sure.
And I remember he was going, if I recall correctly, he was going out and buying bourbon.
It's mostly just to make Sarah happy.
I know, but this is crazy, and I don't know if it's legal, but, and I'm not trying to dox him, but he doesn't do it anymore, I don't think. But he was like buying boat tickets so he could buy stuff. He was buying like trips so he could go buy bourbon.
He's buying duty-free bourbon.
Duty-free bourbon by paying for trips and then literally filling up minivans and driving it back here for himself, for literally self-consumption.
We are we're going to take we're going to go on a cruise, and they're supposed to have massively discounted alcohol.
Is it because it's duty free?
It's duty free.
Yeah, and that's
you don't pay any taxes. So we're going to be we're going to see what we come up with on the on our journey here.
Let me know how much cheaper. It has to be so much cheaper. Otherwise, I don't understand.
I don't think it's that much.
The
cheaper.
math doesn't make sense.
I think it's just another thing to sell.
Yeah, but I don't know how. Like,
you don't pay any taxes.
The guy's
that's
not
the
stupid. Is he?
I don't even know who we're talking about specifically.
You do.
I'm going to pretend I don't.
Okay,
it's better radio.
Yeah, I know. It's like.
Did I stall long enough for you to come up with your final thought?
Nah, I just don't have any now.
It's gone. I could never get it back.
There's always something I want, and then I just kind of forget.
Have you thought of writing it down?
I thought of it on the way here, and I can't write and drive.
Do you have...
There's a sign on my way here. It says the text is not worth it. And I was like, you're right.
Do you have any New Year's resolutions you're starting to think about?
I don't do New Year's resolutions.
You want to be like Dakota and,
I have the same resolution every year. I just
years?
don't make resolutions. Just don't make resolutions.
You don't want to do any self-improvement?
I do self-improvement every day. I don't wait till the new year.
Jesse?
No. I don't feel like I'm that much of a... I'm kind of coarse, I guess, but you need people like me in the world.
Yeah.
How you get change.
All kinds of kinds.
You make my life better every day, Jesse.
I hope so.
It's
what I strive to.
It's great having you there, and I still think the grumpier Jesse is, the better it is for the show.
I hope so. It's fine for me. This is my natural state.
All right. Well, it's been a fun week. The year's not over. We got one more show next week. We're gonna do that, and then I think
not giving anybody time off, huh?
Oh God, no! We'll take some time
with an iron fist. He runs this show.
Listen,
everybody's like, "Look, I think we could take next week's up." No,
listen,
the show.
Oh my God, stuff is falling off the table.
The light turned off too. I think
we still got the live on air sign.
We're leaving. It's perfect.
We love our patrons. They didn't. We don't have vacation time negotiated with the patrons.
They got an hour and a half episode.
They expect a product, and we give them the product. With that, we thank you guys very much, and we will see you next week.